So anyway, my point is,
he drew. Is that his handwritten note over there that shows it?
Yeah, that's definitely. I actually found the original one of those. That's it. That's the document that I found with Ray Stanford at the National Archives in 2013. This is in Dr. Hynek's own handwriting. Enclosed suggests any resemblance to and he draws the symbol of Socorro. Maybe I mean, it was kind of a genius move, quite honestly.
So this was the case that turned J. Allen Hynek?
So what happened was, Jacques Vallée, was it right?
So that's what it looked like? Similar? So similar to a Tic Tac.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. But when it got to about 20 feet off the ground, it went completely silent. No blue flame, nothing. The landing gear was retracted. It was just an egg. And it floated off in the distance. In fact, Lonnie, I've got an interview with Lonnie where he says that one of the officers who arrived on the scene actually saw it fly off in the distance, and it was witnessed by other people in the town that saw this thing flying. Didn't
the Tic Tac, the people who saw the Tic Tac, including Commander Fravor, didn't he say that there was some sort of thing that almost looked like landing gear?
No, there was something that protruded out in the front of it or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But apparently the video, I think it was according to Fravor, the video is... The one that's been out is the resolution is a lot worse than what other people had seen at the time. I remember, I've been pretty sure David Fravor said that to me.
So go ahead.
Well, yeah, so I just recently I'm filming a new doc, and I went to Washington, D.C. for a month to get kind of caught up on what's been happening, because a lot's been happening. While I'm doing Moment of Contact, there's an unprecedented effort in Washington, D.C. to push for further government transparency. Marco Rubio, Senator Gillibrand, Representative Andre Carson, who got the congressional hearings that happened last year, Representative Gallego and Gallagher, all been involved, and others. And so I got introduced some intelligence folks on the inside, and they wanted me to read this to your audience, okay?
Okay.
And this is about evidence.
Okay.
So, and this was pretty much a reaction to the latest hearing that happened with Gillibrand just a couple of days ago or last week. I will remain anonymous, but I've been monitoring the UFO, and I met this guy. I know this guy. This guy's legit. The UFO, UAP activity, and the authorities' response to them. I can assure you there's a lot more evidence behind the curtain that hasn't been released. First, our military are and have been seeing remarkable things in the sky, in the oceans, and on the land for years. Of those reported, where does all this information get stored? Authorities would have you believe that this data is destroyed, but unique data is stored somewhere to be reviewed later. And as someone that has seen the classified holdings, I am very disappointed in the fact that Dr. Kirkpatrick showed some of the most mundane videos to the public. I do understand that there are security factors to be considered, so I'm hoping that Senator Gillibrand saw something much more interesting in her closed-door hearing with Kirkpatrick. And why did only 2 senators show up for the hearing? Have they lost faith in Kirkpatrick already? I applaud Senator Gillibrand's efforts to find the truth, but I am more sure than ever that Kirkpatrick is not the one.
Interesting. So he's withholding some information.
Yeah, these people went on camera for me. It's going to be released when the time is right. But I've got,
Again, it's one of those things conveniently, like Lucy pulling the ball away from Charlie Brown.
It's
right when you get close.
It's so frustrating.
I can only imagine.
So frustrating.
Christopher Mellon said that there's very high resolution photographs.
So he now has he just met with me in D.C. and he's now told me that there is satellite data, and the only reason why he talked about it is because Ratcliffe mentioned it. So he's like, well, Ratcliffe mentioned it, so I'll mention the fact that Ratcliffe mentioned it. It's satellite data. And I was like, well, how good are the photographs? I want to know so bad. You know me. Like, come on, I've been looking at this for 30 years.
Yeah.
How good are the photographs? He goes, James, 4K, just think about as good as you can imagine of craft. And to know that, and I spoke to 5 other people that are part of the program or had the top secret the clearances to access this, and they all confirmed. And it's like they're just on the other side of that curtain. Could somebody just get those out here, please? Please.
Do you think we're closer than ever to those things being leaked?
I think that if we keep the pressure on, I think it's very important. One of the things that concerns me a little bit is that sometimes they could leak something that looks amazing, right? And then you put your fingerprints all over it and you send it out into the ether, and then it's gets debunked.
Right.
So you got to be kind of careful if you don't know provenance. And so
I would imagine they would do stuff like that on purpose.
Oh, and these guys are so
I would
smart.
certainly.
They're like 5 steps ahead of us, So, but I know what I know not because I read it out of a book, but I actually went into the field. I mean, I travel. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I was interviewing generals and cosmonauts in Russia back in the late 90s. I went to China. I went to Australia. I went to Africa. I went to Russia, as I was just saying, all across Europe.